Hey YouTube, so today I'm going to clean my freshwater tank, and I'm going to use a new method. Normally I've done this with a quarter of a cup of bleach to 35 gallons of water, and a quarter cup to 35 gallons is considered a weak solution. If you look through the reading materials on the internet, a quarter cup should be enough for 15 gallons. But since bleach is kind of a nasty substance to be ingesting, I make a weaker solution. So what we are going to do is I am going to try doing a white vinegar tank cleaning. And what we're going to do is we have our pickup tube here. This is the tube that normally you would winterize your RV with, and you would hook your RV freshwater antifreeze to that hose, and that will draw all of the fluid in these two containers into the water system. So what we have to do is first thing is I need to fix my water spout here. I'm putting a new O-ring in here because it leaks out when I run the water, and every time I use the water right now I get water all over the countertop. So I'm going to replace this O-ring here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I need to put a garden hose adapter, which is this thing here. This screws on here, and then you can put a garden hose on this. And what we have to do is run a garden hose from the sink faucet out the door and around the side to the freshwater tank inlet. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook the hose up to the faucet over there, and then the water will pump around through the hot and the cold water system, and then it will just continuously recirculate. So it's going to draw the vinegar in here, and the vinegar will be pumped through the system into the water tank and through the pipes, out the faucet, through the hose, into the freshwater tank. And then when it comes around into the freshwater tank, that's when it will mix and dilute. So we'll run a full strength vinegar initially through all the lines, and then we're going to turn on the water heater and keep circulating the water. And so what you want to do is get the water in your hot and cold freshwater system, your tank. You want all your water to reach 130 degrees, and between the acidity of the vinegar and the temperature, it is supposed to kill all the nasty bacteria that may be in your system and help clean all the walls and everything of your tanks and pipes. Then also the vinegar itself is a decalcifier, so it will clean buildup of calcium and other deposits from inside the water heater and anything that's in the hoses. Now we're on Seattle water here, so Seattle water is really clean, pure water, and we just don't get calcification here. But in the Midwest, the South, and anywhere you get groundwater, you get calcification because it's hard water, and we have very, very soft water here. Okay, this is a diagram of an RV watering system. It's also the same for my truck camper. So keep an eye on the mouse cursor here, and what we are going to do is we're going to use this yellow tube here that connects up to your freshwater line, and this is the tube that you use to introduce RV antifreeze to winterize, and we're going to use that to put vinegar in the system. So what'll happen is we turn a valve here that activates this draw tube, and the pump will suck it in and push the vinegar through the water system, through the water heater and the hot water pipes and through the cold water pipes. And we're going to hook a garden hose, our RV tank fill hose, up to the faucet on the kitchen sink, because that is the farthest sink and the end of the line for all of your hot and cold lines. So you put your hose adapter on the faucet and run the hose out the door and back over into the fill tube. And that way, what will happen is you are recirculating the water from the tank, goes through the system into the water heater and through the cold and hot lines over to the kitchen sink, where the hot and cold combine through the faucet and are sent back out through your RV fill hose and back into the fresh tank. And so that cycle just keeps going, and you're going to keep that going for a couple of hours while the water heater is bringing the water temperature up to about 130 degrees. And the way that it will work is the water heater is going to heat it, and the water heater has a hot setting in it where it will shut off, and that's as hot as you're going to get the water in your system. So uh, the target is 130, but you get what your water heater gives you. My water heater, the water is hot, 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 hotter than your hands can stand it. So I'm pretty sure that I am 130 to 140 degrees. If you've got 120, 125 degrees, your hands can stand it for a couple of seconds. And if it is hotter than that, then you probably have 130 to 140 degrees water heater temperature. So that's how it works. It's going to take about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, to bring all the water in the system up to temperature. There's 35 gallons here and 6 gallons in the water heater. Total of 41 gallons in my system. It takes 15 minutes per 6-gallon tank in the water heater to get hot. So that's, do the math on it, and that's a little over 2 hours of time. Plus, there's heat loss in the pipes. All of my pipes are insulated on the inside, and the garden hose is probably where the most heat loss will happen, and also the fresh tank. So anyway, that is how you clean your system with vinegar. I had 2.5 gallons of vinegar in, and that's white vinegar, in a total of 41 gallons. And it took 2 hours of time, a little over 2 hours of time to do it. And you just turn on your water heater, leave your pump on, keep the water recirculating until it comes up to temperature. And when the water heater shuts off, then that's as hot as it's going to get. And what I do too is, while I am in the process, when the water heater is at its highest temperature, then I start to rock the RV from side to side to get a good sloshing back and forth motion in the fresh water tank. And that is going to help scrub anything off of the walls of the tank and just agitate the water that's in the tank. So when you are done, then you open up the drain valve on your freshwater tank drain and get rid of all that water, drain out your water heater, then refill it with 35 gallons of fresh in the fresh tank, run it through the system, drain out the system, fill the water heater, make sure that's all fresh water, run fresh water through all of your pipes, and then leave it sit for several hours or 24 hours. I let mine sit 24 hours and drain that out. And then the next tank of water will be finished. The water at that point is good to go. It tastes good, and there's no scent or anything in the water. The vinegar is a safe way to do it. Bleach is a poisonous, corrosive, caustic chemical, and if done properly, bleach is perfectly safe. It's in your water system with the city. It's used a lot. and there will be a lot of debate, I'm sure, about it. But if you are concerned about chemicals, vinegar is a good alternative, and you have to have the water heated like this to get the disinfecting action with vinegar. And the other thing about vinegar is if you do taste it in your system, well, vinegar is food. It's not going to hurt you. Okay, that is how this works. Enjoy the rest of the video, and the rest of the video is going to be a hands-on demonstration for you how to do all this stuff. All right. Okay, so I am going to change up this O-ring on the faucet quick. So let's pull out the old washer. Just using a pair of tweezers to get under there and up and over. Okay, and then we'll just compare it to these washers here. And as you can see, that should be it. I will use this one here, and I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of silicone grease on it. Okay, so this is silicone grease for water valves. Want to make sure you're using the correct stuff. Okay, and then we have to put this on. This has a kind of a O-ring-ish groove on it that has to fit into a slot just like the O-ring does. Okay. Okay, so we have this lubricated. Let us go over to the sink, and I'm going to grab these two. Okay, let's push this right on in. Okay, so what I did was I put the larger size O-ring in there and just kind of wiggled it in, and it did compress down into the hole, so it's going to have a tighter fit, and you can see that there is much less wobble in this now. And then I also took an O-ring and put it on top of the nut here because it may or may not have had a washer there at one point. You know, this camper has had other owners in the past. So now we are going to put on the hose adapter, which is this thing, and just going to put that on there. Okay, good. I need to get in down here, and what I'm going to do is, okay, so this here is the hose that feeds into the water system, the draw tube. So you can just maybe see the end of the pipe back there, but so this flexible tube goes around the back and comes in on the other side of that. And to make the pump draw from that, we need to turn this lever. turn that. So when you turn it sideways, it takes from the tank. When you turn it this way, it takes from this draw tube. So we're going to get this draw tube ready. The other thing we have to do is we have to get rid of a couple gallons of water. So we're going to just turn the drain for the tank on, and we're going to let a couple of gallons of water run out of the tank there, and you can hear the water. Okay, so while we are doing that, let me grab the garden hose and we'll route the garden hose into the camper. All right, hang on. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do here is put this screen washer in the hose. I believe it only goes one way. Well, I guess it will go in there. Okay, that's good. Okay, so you see we have a screened washer in the hose now. Just to make sure you can see it, there's the screen, and that will capture any large debris coming through the water system. Okay. And we attach the hose to the sink. Okay, let's run it for a second, make sure there's no leaks. Okay, good, no leaks. Okay, closing the tank drain tube off. Then we're going to turn this back to the setting for the drawing from the bottles. Okay. Okay. Let's open the water access cover. Okay. Open that and shove our water line in there. There you go. Okay, so we are ready to begin. I'm going to elevate this somehow. Maybe just like that. There we go. There, perfect. Okay, let us go turn on the pump. Does this come off? Yep, that's vinegar. So into the jug it goes. See the level dropping fast. just a little bit more to draw from in there. So we'll see if we can get that. See if I can get this one from up here. Okay. So far, so good. Almost out. Okay. Here is my fresh water to flush that fill tube. Switching. And you can see the water is drawing down fairly quickly. So that will flush out the vinegar from this line. Back to circulating water through the lines, and I'm just going to wipe this down. Okay, so we are waiting for everything to get heated up now. Okay, so you can see the water heater is busily working away in there. So it's just going to take a while. This here is the anode. Now I was going to change that, except for they don't have one at Home Depot. So I'm going to have to order one off the internet as soon as I can. Okay. So it's getting a little bit warmer. It's a 6-gallon water heater, and it takes a little while to heat up those 6 gallons. And so it's probably, let's see, let's do the math. 6 gallons, 35-gallon tank, so 6 water heaters, 7 total water heaters worth, so that's like 2 hours of time to heat. So it's going to take a while. So, all right, let's I'm going to shut this camera off. Now it is 5:57. Okay. Cheers. Looking forward to having this done. Here's my washer kit that I bought. Silicone grease for the O-rings. And just waiting away here, killing some time, doing other projects while I'm waiting for the water to come up to temperature. Alrighty. Okay, so as you can hear, the hot water just shut off. So that means we are at temperature. I'm just going to let things continue to circulate for a minute until it kicks back on, and then I will say that we are done. Yeah, it's warm. see there's not a lot of pressure coming out of there. Well, it smells like vinegar, so that's good. And it's hot enough for the water heater to want to stay. So right now I'm only running hot water so that the water heater will cool down faster. What does the fresh tank feel like here? It's warm. Hot. We need to agitate the tank, and an easy way to do it is to just rock the camper. Watch for the water. So we've got a pretty good slosh going in there. Just turn that valve here. And that will let water run outside. So you can see the water coming out. Archie. What is it? What is it? Good boy. Good boy. What is that? Good boy. Okay, so all the water with vinegar has been drained out, and I'm refilling the main the freshwater tank now. And as I fill it, I'm just letting water leak out. Then I need to crack open this water heater compartment again, and I'm gonna open up these valves to let things come out. But first I want to fill the hot water tank. So let's go do that first. I'll leave the drain open and turn on the pump. Okay, so I have finished. I've got the system is refilled. It's not rinsed yet, but it has all new fresh water in there, and it has just the water has got just the slightest bit of a tanginess to it, which you're just basically you're tasting residual vinegar in the water. So what I'll do is let this water sit overnight and then drain the system out again tomorrow, and that should do the trick. But all in all, everything seems to be working just great. Nice cleaned out system, had everything brought up hot, and that was the objective, to run hot water through the cold, the fresh tank, and use hot water to sterilize, sanitize everything along with the acidity of the vinegar. So according to the stuff that I have read, it's supposed to kill everything that was in there. Okay, we're good to go. That is how you clean your freshwater tank and your whole water system with vinegar. 2.5 gallons in 35 gallons of water, or 41 gallons of water counting the water heater. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got some valuable information out of this. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.